Brexit at 5. Reflecting on the UK's departure from the European Union. A montage of Brexit moments. The 2016 referendum night, parliamentary debates, people celebrating, and others protesting. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Grab a cup of tea, get comfy, and let's have a chat about something that's been a big part of our lives here in the UK for the past few years, Brexit. Can you believe it's been over 3 years since we officially left the European Union? Time flies, doesn't it? Today, we're going to take a laid-back look at what's happened since then, the ups and downs, and what people are saying about it now. So, let's dive right in. The road to Brexit. First off, let's rewind a bit. Remember back in 2016 when we had the big referendum? It was on whether the UK should leave or remain in the EU. The result? About 52% voted to leave, and 48% wanted to stay. It was a tight race and stirred up quite a mix of emotions across the country. After the referendum, things didn't move at lightning speed. In fact, it took us 3.5 years of negotiations, debates, and quite a few ups and downs before we officially left on January 31, 2020. That period was filled with talks about trade deals, borders, and a lot of political shuffling. It was like a really long episode of a drama series. Government's stance on Brexit's anniversary. Images of Downing Street and the Prime Minister. So, fast forward to now, and the government has been pretty low-key about celebrating the anniversary of Brexit. No big parties or official events. When asked why, a spokesperson from Downing Street mentioned that they're more focused on looking forward rather than reflecting on the past. They did highlight some benefits, though. For instance, we're no longer bound by EU procurement rules. Basically, this means the UK can manage how it buys goods and services without following EU guidelines, which could lead to more efficiency and better deals. Also, there's talk about adapting financial services regulations to suit the UK market better, which they believe enhances London's competitiveness as a financial hub. But overall, the vibe seems to be more about moving ahead and making the most of the new opportunities Brexit brings. Economic impacts of Brexit. Now, let's chat about the economy. How has Brexit affected trade and businesses? Leaving the EU meant big changes in how we trade with our closest neighbors. There have been new regulations, more paperwork, and some challenges for businesses that export and import goods. Some companies have found it tougher to do business, while others have adapted or found new markets. In the financial sector, London's always been a big player. With Brexit, there's been a push to adjust regulations to make the UK even more attractive to global investors. The idea is to have the flexibility to tailor our rules to benefit our economy directly. Of course, every change brings both opportunities and challenges. There's been talk about securing new trade deals with countries outside the EU. For example, striking a deal with the United States is seen as a significant opportunity. But it's a complex process, and we're still navigating through it all. Opposition parties' perspectives. Images of Sir Keir Starmer, Liberal Democrat logos, and Green Party symbols. Brexit isn't just about what the government says, though. Opposition parties have their views, too. Starting with the Labour Party, Sir Keir Starmer has been clear that he wants to make Brexit work better for everyone. He acknowledges that we're out of the EU and isn't pushing to rejoin, but he does emphasize improving relations with Europe. The Liberal Democrats, on the other hand, have been quite critical. They see the Brexit deal as, and I quote, an utter disaster for our country. They're advocating for much closer ties with the EU, including the possibility of a customs union. Then there's the Green Party. They're pushing for rejoining the customs union and even suggesting a youth mobility scheme. This would make it easier for young people to study and work across Europe, something many have missed since Brexit. They also believe that full EU membership is the best option and hope to pursue that when the political climate allows. Conservative Party views. Images of Kemi Badenoch and Lord Frost. Back to the Conservatives, opinions within the party vary. Kemi Badenoch described Brexit as the greatest vote of confidence in our country. She acknowledges there's still work to do but is optimistic about leveraging new opportunities, especially in global trade. Lord Frost, who was the UK's chief negotiator during the Brexit talks, stands firmly by the current deal. He warns against any moves to bring the UK closer to EU regulations again, suggesting that it would undermine the autonomy that Brexit was supposed to achieve. According to him, the deal is working well, and there's no need to start tearing bits of it up again. Voices from Brexit proponents. Clip of Nigel Farage speaking. Of course, we can't talk about Brexit without mentioning Nigel Farage. One of the most prominent figures advocating for leaving the EU, he had some interesting things to say. Farage considers Brexit a success in terms of constitutional independence and foreign policy. However, he admits that many who voted to leave might feel disappointed, particularly regarding immigration, which hasn't decreased as some expected. He blames this on government policies rather than Brexit itself. He also dismisses the idea that the public was misled about Brexit's benefits. He suggests that with different leadership, implying someone like himself in charge, the outcomes would have matched the promises made during the campaigns. Immigration and public sentiment. Speaking of immigration, let's touch on that topic. Post-Brexit, there was an expectation among some that immigration numbers would decrease. However, the figures have actually risen in recent years. This has been a point of contention and has led to discussions about how immigration is managed. Public opinion on Brexit remains divided. Some feel that the promises made haven't been fully realized, while others believe that we need more time to see the benefits. Surveys and polls show a mixed bag. Some people are optimistic about the future, while others are concerned about the economic and social impacts. On a societal level, Brexit has affected people's ability to travel, work, and study in the EU. For young people especially, opportunities that once were easily accessible now come with more hurdles. This has led to a sense of loss for some who valued the close ties with Europe. International relations. Now, let's broaden the scope a bit. How has Brexit influenced the UK's relationships on the world stage? With the EU, the UK is working on defining a new kind of partnership. While we're no longer part of the Union, Europe remains our closest neighbor and largest trading partner. Globally, the UK is striving to establish itself as a strong independent player. There's been a push to form new trade agreements with countries around the world. The idea is to embrace a more global Britain, reaching beyond Europe to build new alliances and economic partnerships. Future prospects and recommendations. Looking ahead, what are the plans and hopes for the future? The government aims to maximize the opportunities that come from being outside the EU. This includes tailoring regulations to benefit UK industries, investing in innovation and technology, and pursuing trade deals that suit our national interests. Opposition parties are likely to continue advocating for closer ties with the EU, whether through trade agreements or collaborative initiatives. The conversation about the best path forward is ongoing, and different political leaders have different ideas about how to achieve prosperity. Economically, there's a focus on recovery, especially after the challenges posed by the global pandemic. Strengthening the economy, supporting businesses, and ensuring that the UK remains competitive on the international stage are top priorities. Conclusion. So, there you have it, a whirlwind tour of where we stand with Brexit over 3 years since we officially left the EU. We've seen that opinions vary widely. The government highlights the newfound freedoms and opportunities, while opposition parties and critics point out the challenges and areas where they believe things could be better. What's clear is that Brexit is still a hot topic and likely will be for some time. It's a complex issue that touches on economics, politics, and personal identities. At the end of the day, it's important for us to keep the conversation going, listen to different perspectives, and work towards solutions that benefit everyone. Call to action. I'd love to hear your thoughts. How do you feel about Brexit now? Have your views changed since the referendum? Drop a comment below, and let's have a respectful discussion. Remember, everyone's experience is different, and all opinions are welcome. If you enjoyed this chat, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more discussions on current events and topics that matter to you. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.